Good evening and welcome to the South County Fire Board of Commissioners regular board meeting for September 16, 2025. I'll go ahead and call us to order. Ask everybody to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Board members, you have in front of you the draft agenda, which is a full agenda. We'll have lots to get to this evening. Is there anything else for the agenda? If not, I'll move the adoption of the agenda as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, it's been moved and seconded to adopt the agenda as presented. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion? If not, we'll move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously. That takes us to the consent agenda, which includes item number 4, which is 4A, the August 2025 payroll summary and authorization, and 4B, which is the September 16, 2025 claims vouchers totaling $1,110,055.50. I'll move adoption of the consent agenda. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Teoflak. It's been moved and seconded to adopt the consent agenda. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion? If not, we'll move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. That moves us forward to the meeting minutes. And this evening we have item number 5, which is approval of the September 2, 2025 regular meeting minutes. I will move adoption of those September 2, 2025 regular meeting minutes. Is there a second? Is there a second? Second. Second by Commissioner Chan. It's been moved and seconded to adopt those meeting minutes. Is there any discussion on the motion? If not, we'll move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. That moves us forward in the agenda to item number 6, which is public comment. We do have some people signed up for public comment tonight. We'll start, I think, first in the room here with Barb Heidel. Yeah, please come forward up to our chair there in the middle. We have the microphone. And Ms. Blankenship, is the microphone activated? Ms. Heidel. Okay. And if you could please state your name for the record, and then you have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Barb Heidel from Mill Creek. Thank you. First, I'd like to say thank you to the commissioners who voted to bring back Station 76 to our 5 firefighters. Thank you. I appreciate that happening. We look forward, there will be a significant improvement with communications to everyone within the RFA. We all can learn from missteps and try to do a better job. Also, in regard to good communicating practices, I would hope there will be more timely responses to emails sent via your information address on your website. I sent an email on August 27th, which would have been received by August 28th. And as of yet, I have had no reply. I have copies of the email with me if you need. In my first sentence, I said, this is a question for the PIO, Christy. I didn't know her last name. I had no way of communicating directly with her since I had no email address for her. I CC'd Chief Eastman. I did receive an email from the chief on September 5th in regards to an email I sent on August 11th about staffing at Station 76, but not in response to my questions in the second email on the 27th. I have not had my questions answered by either one of them. I was asking about a new truck at Station 76 that they had received. My email had about 4 questions to which I would have liked having a response. I could be incorrect, but I had assumed that a PIO gave important information of what is happening with the South County Fire. I am disappointed that it's been almost 3 weeks with no response. I could understand a week or so, but not that length of time. In light of all that has happened with our community in Mill Creek related to our fire station, I would figure that a better job of communicating would have been worked on. We would like to have more confidence and trust that you care with all your communities, large and small. Luckily, I was checking your website yesterday and saw the announcement about the push-in. which had been the topic of my questions. I suppose it's too much to ask for a response to my email, even though I had not paid, ask for a response to my email, since obviously your PIO is very busy. I'm a very busy person too. Even though I am not paid, I spend almost 3/4 of the day helping the city with coordinating volunteers and helping the police department with citizen patrol. I make it a priority to respond to all communications I receive as fast as I can, usually that day or within a day or so, even if it means I'm in the office for 6 to 8 hours as a volunteer. It took 3 attempts to sign up for e-communication with South County News. I wonder how long it takes to get any messages. Hopefully not long. I am thrilled that I did find out about Station 76 event this Thursday in time to go to it. I think it's an awesome thing to do, building community relationships with the fire department. Moving forward, may we all please be more open with sharing news and important information with city councils, administrators, and community members in regards to redeployment, good and difficult decisions to be made. Don't keep us in the dark until the change is made. And when concerned community members have questions, may there be a better way to get answers than what has been happening. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Heidel. Ms. Blankenship, our two other commentators are in the,
Question before she steps out.
do you have a question for her?
Yeah. Ma'am,
Okay.
just one quick question. What email address did you send your emails to? Okay, all right, got it. Thank you.
First time I sent an email, Melissa responded very fast. My first email on the 11th. And then later I got another response. I got a response from you.
Thank you.
So I know that email goes through.
Ms. Blankenship, our other two people that are signed up are online. Let me just make a last request in the room. Any other request in the room here for public comment? Any other requests for public comment in the room? Okay, let's go online then. And I think our first person signed up is Harmony Crawford online. Ms. Crawford, are you? You've got your hand up there. Can you hear us? Can you come on video? Are you able to come on video for us?
I would
No?
love to. Well, I'm trying to figure out exactly why it's not working.
Okay, well then go ahead. You have 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Oh, unfortunate. Sorry about that. I'm usually really good with technology. Thank you, Melissa, for facilitating. Thank you to the Board of Commissioners, Chief Eastman, and others in the room, or those via remote or asynchronous attendance. Grateful for a few moments to formally introduce myself to those I've not yet had the opportunity to meet or chat with as a candidate for Fire Commissioner for District 1. I've lived in Briar since 2008, raising my two sons here, who are now 21 and 15 years old. And I wanted to share that at first I was really conflicted when we were voting to annex into South County Fire, mostly because I was so delighted with Briar's beautiful new fire station that was built in 2010. But knowing the station was still be in service to Briar, and now also with the benefit of an expanded scope of service and network of responders, it was a no-brainer for the small community of Briar to annex into South County Fire. So now I'm excited to be running for commissioner as a Briar resident. I've been asked by a handful of individuals why one chooses to run for fire commissioner. I think so many assume that maybe I should have direct experience as a firefighter or first responder. And while I would be humbled to have had such an opportunity, my career trajectory has been a path more focused on business leadership, strategic planning, talent development, budget management, data and analytics, and team building. I believe this business experience makes me well qualified for the role of commissioner, especially as it relates to effective communication across teams and with communities, as well as defining growth strategies to ensure that South Snohomish County continues to have the resources necessary to serve and be served. Over the years, I've also had volunteer opportunities where I feel like my skills and experience could bring value to the communities in which I belong. This has included roles like president and treasurer for music boosters at Briar Terrace Middle School and Mountain Lake Terrace High School, contributions as a social media and communications coordinator for Briar Wildlife Habitat. I'm currently sitting as the chair of the Briar Parks and Recreation Volunteer Board of Directors, and recently was a mentor in the ACP program, helping those from a military community find their next career. I made the decision last fall that I was going to run for office, and I was seeking a role where my business experience could bring the right value to a growing organization, but also one with a mission and purpose where my strengths could not only serve, but supercharge the team's success. So I cannot think of a more worthwhile purpose than the safety of our firefighters and first responders and their ability to effectively serve the communities of South Snohomish County. So thank you to those of you who have already made me feel welcome to the conversation. I look forward to continuing the conversation and hopefully supporting South County Fire as a future commissioner. Thank you. Thank you, Melissa. Back to the room.
Thank you, Ms. Crawford. Next up online, we have Neil Nerotsos from the city of Edmonds. Are you there? Yeah, there you go. Are you able to come on video or is that not?
You
It's
know,
not-
I
not
don't see
possible.
that op, I don't
Sorry,
see
I
that
guess,
option.
I guess it's not technologically possible to come on the video, so it's
Can
on
you hear
our
me
end,
okay?
so go ahead. All right, good evening.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, yes.
Great, perfect. Well, good evening. I'm Neil Naruzzo. I'm the City of Edmonds Public Information Officer, and thanks for including us in your meeting tonight. I'm here to give you a short update about the city's fall property tax ballot measure. I'm sure you've heard about that and read about that. And I'm here to share some ways you and the community can learn more. As you know, the city continues to face a budget deficit. Edmonds has cut staff and programs. We've deferred repairs, used reserves, borrowed internally, and pursued additional revenue sources. The City Council has placed on the November 4th ballot a $14.5 million measure, a property tax levy for police, parks, planning, streets, and sidewalks. The city also is pursuing about $5 million in additional non-property tax revenue sources. We'll be holding 3 informational town halls in the coming weeks to share background with the community and answer questions. All 3 will be held in the bracket room at City Hall in Edmonds, and the dates and times we've scheduled are as follows. And I've shared this with the assistant to the commissioner, or to the commission for your background as well. But the 3 dates are Thursday, September 25th, 3 to 4:30 p.m., Thursday, October 9th, 7 to 8:30 p.m., and Saturday, October 25th, 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And again, those are all 3 in the bracket room at City Hall in Edmonds. So we encourage you to attend and share these dates with other community members. The City Council is always interested in your input from you at the South County Fire and the local community. And our commissioners can be emailed at council@edmondswa.gov. And additional City of Edmonds budget and levy information is also on the city's website at www.edmondswa.gov/levy 2025. And again, I've emailed the text of my comments to the assistant to the commissioner, or to the commission, excuse me, for reference. And again, thank you tonight for making time for me. And we hope to see you at the meetings coming up.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Nerotsos. Let's see, is there any, Ms. Blankenship, is there any other request for public comment on the website or on the Zoom platform?
There is not.
Very good. Thank you. Very good. Well, that concludes then, that concludes the public comment. Thank you. We'll move forward in the agenda then to item number 7, which is the Fire Chief's report. Good evening, Chief Eastman.
Good evening, Chair Kenny, rest of the board, liaisons, guests, and staff. I guess I'll have Chief Isotelo start, and then I'll turn it over to Christy, and then I'll finish things up. So with that, Jason, I'll let you start.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. So I have some good news. We've got quite the opportunity in front of us. Chief Curtis received a phone call from a vintage fire apparatus collector in the Port Townsend area, who's offering to sell us a 1955 Maxim pumper that was confirmed to be, I believe, the first pumper in the city of Montlake Terrace years ago. Sales price is $3,000 with a $500 delivery fee to trailer it over. Deliver it to the Linwood shops, and the plan moving forward be make sure, it is roadworthy, it runs and that, but check the brakes and check all the stuff to make sure that it's safe. Do that work at the shop, move it and store it at Station 19. And I think we're working with the volunteer group to lead a restoration project. As you'll recall, they did a wonderful job getting the Rio back on the road and parade ready. And so that's the plan with this apparatus. So we just wanted to let the board know that we're moving forward with that purchase and to bring that rig home. And excited to have the volunteer group working on it for us in the next year. So That's all I've got. Thanks. Thank you, Chief.
Do any more on the report? Chief's report, or are you ready for questions?
We got 2 more items.
Well, just, did you make a counter offer?
Chief Curtis is handling that. I just gave him the head nod to buy it.
Good evening, Commissioners. First, I'll just say that the email that was mentioned earlier was just located in a junk folder, so it was not received. So those questions will be answered for Ms. Heidel. Thank you for bringing that up. I wanted to give you guys some information on a house fire we had on Sunday. That was unfortunately a fatality. It was on 8th Avenue West in Everett, and it happened about 7 p.m. So this is a photo from that fire. More than 30 firefighters responded from South County Fire and also Everett Fire and from Painfield Fire. There was one patient that was transported to Harborview with life-threatening injuries. And the cause of the fire is under investigation by the Snohomish County Fire Marshal's office. There was pretty significant damage to the home. The investigators believe that the fire started on the lower floor and then made its way pretty quickly up to the home's attic. It was a bit challenging for firefighters due to the large number of contents and furniture in some areas of the home. And so we are sad to report a fatality. We fortunately don't have those cases very often. We would like to remind everyone to check their smoke alarms. We recommend you check them monthly. That is your family's best protection against a fire and will help you get out quickly.
Great, thank you.
Questions later on,
About the fire?
or the fire, or later on?
Do you want to take a question about the fire?
Sure.
Go ahead. Commissioner Chan.
Yeah, so A Avenue, so is in the jurisdictions of Everett, not South County Fire?
No, this was South County Fire's jurisdiction. So this was kind of an area between Mariner High School and 99, south of
Okay.
Center Road.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Mhm.
And I saw that there's some explosions for that.
Yes, there were some small explosions that firefighters heard as they were responding. It was likely ammunition. It could have even been airsoft cartridges that were inside the home, but some kind of ammunition is what it's believed to be.
And then the article also said there's some maybe drugs and stuff like that in there.
There was some potential drug paraphernalia located inside the home.
So is it independent? Is it in the community? No, it's not in is it not a development? Is it kind of single?
It's a residential home, a split level residential home in a neighborhood. Yes, it is on a residential street.
Oh, okay. But I'm glad so many people respond to us and helping us. I think that's great.
Yes, we're always thankful for our partners. We will say that 2 people in the home did make it out safely, and we are thankful for that.
Yeah, yeah. It's reading an article, it kind of, what's going on, and then and to see the firefighter climbing on the roof, and that's amazing. Thank you.
Chief Eastman.
And the last thing, or do you have something else? Nope. So, sorry. The last thing is, you heard from, the city of Edmonds, I believe it was their PIO, talking about their ballot measure. I did talk to Commissioner Wittes, I think it was last week, mid last week, as the chair of intergovernmental. And I had a privilege of having a conversation with the mayor of Edmonds at the 911 ceremony in Edmonds, last week. And Commissioner Wittes and I were talking about the potential of a resolution support of the proposition that Everett's moving forward within their city. And I just want to let the board know, I'm working on that on behalf of the conversation that Commissioner Wittes and I had, and we'll work with the chair and the vice chair about that. But I wanted to have it on people's radar, and because the timeline's kind of narrow because the election's in the first week of November. So that was just wanted to have it on your radar, and staff will work with the chair and vice chair and Commissioner Wittes as we work through that. So other than that, staff has no other reports tonight. We'll take any additional questions that the board may have.
Any questions for the chief on the chief's report? Okay, great. Thank you, Chief. Next up is item number 8, the union report. Now, we believe we have Connor Holtum on our Zooming in tonight. Good evening.
Good evening, commissioners, chiefs, staff, and guests. Not much to report from Local 1828 this week. We do want to say thank you to everyone who made an effort to be out at the 9/11 ceremony in Edmonds. It meant a lot to see, our administration, and then obviously some of the board members there. So we appreciate everyone who made an effort to show up and show your support there. And thank you all for the continued hard work.
Great, thank you. Any questions from the board members on the union report? Great, thank you. Okay, that moves us forward in the agenda to item number 9, which is unfinished business. And we start with tonight, the 2026 Chief's preliminary budget with, Chief Eastman, but also our Chief Financial Officer,
Yeah,
Chris
so
Bothwell. Good evening.
so I guess I just wanted to say thanks. This has been an effort that, quite frankly, we've been working on since January. And I guess I'll back up a little bit further than that. When I became the fire chief last year, we did some things a little bit different with the budget process starting last year and moving forward to what we did with the organizational roadmap and how we want to be a little bit more visionary, look out, realize that things and some of how we need to be thinking as an organization is not just what we need to do for next year, but work out a little bit further than that, work things back. And I want to thank the board for their patience in working with me and the rest of the staff and giving us grace as we work through, I think, a process that has allowed us to think more strategically. It spurred conversation between staff and the board in a way that exceeded my expectations as the fire chief. And the dialogue we had from January to June about where the organization should be, we looked at not only needs administratively, but needs operationally and looked out where the future of this organization is with growth and how do we stay ahead, how do we plan and how do we stay forward leaning and not get on our heels as an organization. We talked about the resource needs of the organization over the long term and strategies that go along with that. And I'm really proud of the organization, the conversation we had for the first 6 months of this year. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of information. I think the best part, it was open. It was honest dialogue. And I think we came up with a product that sets the stage for this organization moving forward. And it kind of sets another way to have continued conversations about what the needs of the organization are, both in resources and in people, and in capital and all of those. And I guess I just want to say thanks because you had a little bit of faith in me as I took over the role as fire chief and allowed me to maybe do it a little bit different than the predecessors before me. I want to thank the executive staff because we started a process where they are intimately involved in the budget process. It's not just the fire chief office and the CFO. The executive staff has a very, very key role, and they're key decision makers in what comes forward in my proposed budget. And again, I'm proud of that. We've got an organization and executive leadership that actually understand not just their respected role within the organization, but they understand the organization as a whole. They understand where we are from a resource perspective, the fiscal demands that we face, the organizational, operational demands we face. And they're well versed in it. I hope as we get through the 2026 budget process and start next year again, that we continue the conversation and improve upon the conversation we've had with the organizational roadmap and tweak as appropriate, adjust as needed, and continue looking 3 to 5 years down the road so nobody's surprised of where we need to go and some of those complex issues that'll give us time to tackle and come up with the best solution for the people we serve. And I guess I just want to say thanks to not only my staff, but the board. And again, I'm extremely proud of the work we've accomplished when it comes to the ongoing conversation we have about the needs of the organization that help inform our expense plan for 2026. So I truly want to say thanks. And with that, I'm not going to take any of the thunder away from CFO Bothwell, and I'm going to get and I'm proud to have Chris present the 2026 preliminary budget.
Thank you, Chief. Good evening, Commissioners. So tonight's a big moment in the budget process. This is when the administration officially turns over its budget proposal to the board, and it officially kicks off the board's budget deliberations. So I emailed out the budget book to you all last night. It is available on the website for the public. We've talked leading up to this point during the budget process about the budget in some detail, components of it, the revenue forecast, the expenditure forecast, and a number of other matters. So I'm going to keep it really high level tonight. I'm going to go through the budget accomplishments. So what do we do? What does this budget actually do? There are a couple challenges that I'm going to share with you. We've retooled the budget book, or at least one significant section of the budget book. And so I want to share what those updates look like. And then we'll talk about next steps. So just starting with accomplishments, this is the complete and balanced budget proposal. It funds all current levels, all current services at current levels of service. There are no cuts in this budget. It finalizes the Edmonds annexation. So this is the first time that we are going to have taxes and fees coming directly from Edmonds residents to the organization. And we're also taking on some additional expenses associated with that annexation too. It implements the roadmap, which adds 35 positions to the organization. And just being fiscally responsible, it fully funds asset replacement set-asides, just like we do every year. And it fully funds all our ongoing obligations consistent with our policies. So I've got a note there, there's no shortcuts in this budget. It was a little bit more difficult to balance in some of the budgets we've seen in the recent past, but we didn't take any shortcuts to get there. So this is a very fiscally responsible budget, and it continues the longstanding history this organization has of good financial stewardship. So a couple additional accomplishments. There is a modest surplus of about $400,000 in this budget. So we've got revenues at just over $130 million and expenses nearly matched at $130 million. The impact on the average property owner is an increase in taxes and fees of about $106, and that's split almost evenly between the general fire levy and the benefit charge. And this budget maintains our status of having the lowest tax and fee rate of any mid to large Snohomish County fire agency. And I've got in your budget book, I'll show you where that chart is that compares us to the other agencies in Snohomish County. So there are some challenges in this budget. So the general fund is not achieving its updated fund balance target. And the reason updated is bolded is because it would have met the previous target. So you may recall back in June when we did our policies update, we went from a 90-day operating reserve to a 120-day operating reserve. So this budget would achieve the 90-day operating reserve, but does not quite meet the new 120-day reserve. Similar story for the healthcare self-insurance fund. It's not achieving its updated fund balance target. Previously, we didn't have a fund balance target for the self-insurance fund, but in June we implemented one. The state requires us to have 16 weeks of program expenses in reserves. We will meet that requirement, but we won't meet our new target of 30 weeks that we adopted back in June. So for both of these matters, we do have a strategy in this budget. And when we talk about next steps, one of the things I want to do is share with the board and the community what that strategy is. And then the final item there is that healthcare self-insurance forecast contains significant uncertainty and risk. And this is something we've been talking about for a long time. Our experience with the self-insurance fund has changed recently. Our costs, and we'll get into the data when I actually present this item at another meeting, but our costs for the self-insurance plan have almost doubled in the last 3 years. And so that's causing a lot of stress on our general fund and on the healthcare self-insurance fund itself. So this is a conversation we're going to continue to have, but I wanted to disclose that that is a challenge that we're dealing with in this budget. And I just put a note there, these are complex topics that we plan to dig into in a lot of detail in the coming weeks. So in terms of the budget book, we got rid of the executive summary that we started a few years ago and replaced it with more summary data. So what's new is we have a schedule of major changes. And what that does is it starts with the 2025 budget and then it builds 2026, showing you what the major items are and what the costs associated with those items are. The second item, and that's on page 7 of the budget book. The second item that's new is the community financial impact analysis. So I said a few minutes ago that we had that this budget would cause a $106 annual increase for an average property owner. There's a bunch of details that support that on this sheet. This is on the, the analysis that's in the book. And this is just a data point that we've not traditionally shown in the budget. And so that's a new one. And then the final one there is a tax and fee rate comparison for Snohomish County agencies. And this is one that the board requested that we republish. So we published that in the budget book with the 2026 rates. We're comparing ourselves to the 2025 rates for the other agencies because we don't know what they're going to do. But you'll see that there's a pretty significant gap between us and the next agency on that list. And it's pretty unlikely that the order of agencies of taxes and fees for the agencies would actually change with 2026, but there is a chance. It would probably require that one of those agencies cut their budget, which is pretty unlikely. And then the other thing that's in your budget book that's sort of new this year is in the back of the budget book, we always publish our comprehensive financial management policies. And that's just the best practice so that the community gets a full picture of what we're budgeting and what the constraints we're working with. This year, I'm proposing that we do 2 policy updates that are sort of out of cycle with the budget. And I'll get into those in more detail. They're sort of benign, but I think that rather than reliving them when we do our next update in June and sort of suspending a policy that we might have in effect now in the budget process and then doing something formal in June, I'm proposing that we take a look at considering a policy updates. And so the comprehensive financial management policies that are in the back of the book actually have red line in there of what the proposed changes are. They may not make a whole lot of sense if you look at them sort of in isolation without an explanation, but we'll get into those in more detail at a future meeting. So for next steps, I'm just offering some topics for discussion. These are things that I think that the board is likely to be interested in the context of the budget. We have the general fund ending cash and investment strategy. So this is that fund balance issue that we have where we aren't meeting our 120-day fund balance target. I think that it probably deserves a conversation to talk about the strategy that's currently in this budget proposal, the risks associated with that, the importance of discipline as we move through the year, if that is the strategy we go with. And then, of course, we can explore other options that are out there as well. Very similar story for the self-insurance fund strategy. We'll look at strategy, risks, and options. The policy updates, those are probably don't need to be a standalone item. We could probably combine them with one of these other topics, but I'd like to be able to present those to you all for consideration with the budget package. And then I'm just offering one because I don't know if the board's really interested, but if you are, just let me know and we'll get this on there too. And one of the things we went to it from a 6-year financial forecast to a 10-year financial forecast with our most recent policy update. But what we've always done with that forecast that's in the budget is we've used historical data and historical assumptions. We have our funding guiding principles are not policies, so it's sort of maybe a little inappropriate to apply those in the budget book, although we could. But what I wanted to offer is that we could look at what the 10-year financial forecast looks like if we were to, or if we continue to apply the funding guiding principles, just to see how that changes things, because it's pretty dramatic. And so I was going to offer that for a future meeting as well. And I think that's it. So I'll take this down and take any questions that you have.
Commissioner Chan, you had a question?
He wasn't too happy when I asked a question. No, actually, I just make some comment.
There we go.
I just want to make some comments. I think it's good that your executive letter summary. A few points I want to clear. Number one, you basically talk about the responsibility. Your physical responsibility to the taxpayer. That's exactly the commissioner do. We all work together. And one more thing I want to, it's really great. I think one of the key things that talk about is that we're going to have reserve for the building the Station 22 on North Road, which help the Mill Creek's respond time. So then I also want to emphasizing that as a fire department, we need to build, when we expand the population and everything else, we need to build station, right? If I'm a library, I just want a library, buy more books. But for us, we have to build more station. And that is a major money that we need. And then I think you point out that, we have the reserve fund, but a lot of time people look at our reserve fund as, oh, why do you have so much money? Because we need that reserve. And I think that's critical. So I appreciate, I just had a good opening. I feel really comfortable after 20 years. This is a very comfortable way to read the budget where many cities are struggling with, not many organizations are struggling with budget and we don't, but important that you look up 10 years down so that we can forecast our stuff. And I like the way you say the money, $3,000 for pump. So we're stingy. All right, thank you.
Other questions, comments for Mr. Bothwell on the budget? Commissioner Teoflat.
For the 10-year model, are you asking us for our interest to do that?
I mean, you're welcome to share your interest. I think if you were to, express interest with the chair, then we can get it on an agenda and we can throw that together for sure. I just wanted to kind of put it out there as an option for you all to consider.
And is it time consuming for you or?
I'm happy to do it.
Okay, I think I'm interested in that. You sold it to us when you were talking about it. So you said it was pretty dramatic. So yeah. So thank you.
Other questions, comments? Commissioner Fernhoff.
CFO Bothwell, thank you very much for that thunderous presentation, as Chief Eastman alluded to, not stealing your thunder. I'm a little concerned, and this is just from my naive new commissioner point of view, that we talk a lot about this is $1.25 here and excuse me, as an additional amount tacked on over there. Somewhere in this presentation, when we get to the to the meat and potatoes of things, I'd like to be able to have a one-page slide that I can demonstrate with all of the fees, everything tacked on, and a couple of models per, let's say, a $500,000 home, a $1 million home, $2 million home, what they actually equate to. Because I think sometimes we talk in dollars and cents, and really it's adding up to something that's much more deliberate and much more impactful to our constituents. So I'd like at least that one-page snapshot. And then eventually I will turn to staff and also talk about salaries and what our expenditures are, and what our firefighter makes, what our captains make, what our chiefs make, et cetera. Because these are topics that are going to come up as we hit leaner and leaner thresholds for our municipalities to participate in those in the unincorporated areas. So if somewhere in our discussion, we can have that kind of just a, doesn't have to be fancy, just a page.
And you may check page 8 in the budget book too. There is some, I don't know if it scratches the itch that you're specifically describing, but it does have the detail of the overall impact to taxpayers specific to the fire department for property tax and benefit charge. And it shows 25, 26 uses an average rate.
My apologies. I just don't have that in front of me. So
no worries. I just wanted to point out that it's there.
thank you. Appreciate it.
Other questions, comments? Commissioner Lawrence.
Yes, that $106 per, that's every man, woman, and child. Is that what that was?
No, that's a property owner. So if you have like a single family residential home valued at $800,000 in 2026, it would be an additional $106.
Additional.
Yeah. And you can see where we're starting from on the page 8 as well. So, and we can provide additional data about the tax burden if the board's interested.
Thank you. And that was really short, your report. Great.
Other questions, comments for Mr. Bothwell? So there may be, as the board will be working on the budget over the next, I guess, 6 scheduled meetings up through the third meeting of November, when we typically pass the budget. There is an opportunity for board members to bring forward items that you want further discussion on, other research on. But if there are particular things that you are, now that you're thinking about that you'd like to have either more discussion on or, consideration of, bringing that forward at that first meeting of October is really helpful. So staff has an opportunity to review it as opposed to the third meeting of November, when it gets very hard to do anything. So if you have things that you're thinking about, get them out to Mr. Bothwell. Sooner is better. There's no hard and fast cutoff, but sooner is better so that we have an opportunity to discuss it here. Staff has an opportunity to investigate it and provide informed information and opinion, and we can develop the budget in a reasoned fashion. So be thinking of that as we go through the next number of meetings, and I'm sure people's memories and ideas will be jogged as we go through different pieces of it, and we'll put this together over the next 6 meetings. So. Any other comments or questions on 2026 budget? All right, that sounds good. More to come in our subsequent meetings here in the fall. Okay, that moves us forward in the agenda then to item 9B, which is the DEMILA with Snohomish County. And I think you will find that in your packet at page 45. Chief Eastman.
So I don't really have anything else to add to the brief we gave last meeting, unless the board has any questions. Staff would like to for the board to take action on this tonight. I did talk to Lucia, the Director of Emergency Management, at the county chiefs meeting, which was the first Monday of this month, and she's working it through the process at the county. That tends to take a little bit longer, but it's in process. And traditionally, the county would like the agency that they're entering into agreements with ratify it first, and then the county ratifies it after we would ratify it. So we're in the preferred way that the county would like to do it. And I think the motion to approve would be to approve with the fire chief's authorization to sign the ILA.
Any general questions or comments from board members? If not, I will go ahead and move that the board authorize the chief or the board approve and authorize the chief to sign the interlocal agreement for emergency management services with Snohomish County by South County Fire. Is there a second? Second. It's been moved and seconded to approve and authorize the chief to sign this ILA. Is there discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion? Commissioner Fernhoff, yes? No? Yes? No, okay, sorry. Any discussion on the motion? If not, we'll move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously.
Thank you on behalf of staff.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, that moves us forward in the agenda then to item 9C, which is the purchase of one Pearson Forcer tractor-drawn aerial engine. And I think, sorry, just getting to that. I think you will find that at page 69 of the packet. Chief Eastman.
Thank you, Chair. I'm going to be
Oh.
standing in for Chief Curtis.
Okay, that sounds good. Chief Maxwell.
I'll do my best here. Chief Curtis presented this to the board at the last meeting. We're looking for you to reauthorize the purchase of a Pierce ladder truck. This was approved by the board in February of 2023. They're unable to manufacture that original ladder truck. And we have made one change or a couple change on this, removing the pump and the tank and the waterways, which equates to $80,000 savings. This was actually on the replacement schedule for 2025. They won't be able to build it probably till 2026. Looks like about 11-month lead time. And so we are basically looking for approval from what Chief Curtis presented last week.
Any general discussion or questions from board members? Mr. Fernhoff, go ahead.
So this is an $80,000 savings of what we had actually budgeted for. Sorry, I got coconut stuck in my throat. Is that then reflected back, CFO Bothwell, and some of these savings in the projected budget that we'll see in your roll-up that we set out and we budgeted and blocked off some of this funding? And now that we have an $80,000 unaccounted for, does that go back into essentially like a general fund or something like that to where we can repurpose that money, or how does that held out?
So all of our replacements are funded through the apparatus replacement reserve fund. And so that money will sit in the reserve fund. It won't, there's no backflow back to the general fund. So it'll sit there and probably, I mean, if history repeats itself, there will be an overage somewhere else that we'll need that money for, or, you know, the cost of something will go up. And so we'll need to adjust those values, and it'll get, it doesn't go anywhere. It'll get spent on apparatus, probably in the near term on an overage somewhere else though, but not back to the general fund.
Thank you, sir, for the explanation. Thank you, Chief, for allowing me to interrupt.
Other general questions, comments on the potential purchase? If not, I think we're ready for a motion. I'll move that we authorize the purchase of the Pearson Forcer tractor-drawn aerial engine in the amount of approximately $2,240,718.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to authorize that purchase of that ladder tiller. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion? If not, we'll move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. That moves us forward in the agenda then to item 9D, which is amendment to the 2025 adopted capital fund budget related to facility repairs. And
It's gonna be me.
Chief Eastman, okay.
Yeah, so you got a brief by Chief Curtis last meeting on this topic. It deals with Fire Station 21 needs a Niederman exhaust. As a result of us moving resources around, it's the exhaust capture that we use when apparatus are parked. So we keep the exhaust out of the living quarters. With headquarters, we have a challenge with the boiler downstairs. That repair has already been made. It was an emergency repair. We couldn't wait for that. There was a $75,000 repair. Station 14's generator that keeps the in loss of power for the stations greater than 30 years old. And it was actually not cost effective to fix it. So this is a replacement of that generator at $36,000. Station 76, if you remember, Station 76 in Mill Creek has a dorm style living. So it's like one open room. In today's environment, with having 5 people there, we need to close that off and make partitions in the dorm room so people have individual and privacy and the stuff associated with that. That's a $300,000 cost. For the board to know, that has to go out through the Small Works roster to go out to bid. And the actual authorization of that contract award will be done by the board. It exceeds my spending authority. So you'll see that come back once they get that work completed. We have some flooring at Station 13. I think James talked about that. We're talking about getting rid of the flooring and going to polished concrete. And we're doing the same thing at Station 21. And you see the respective costs of that. And at the end, what staff's looking for is there's also a budget resolution in your packet that authorizes the increase of 500. I gotta look at the number. Of $548,000 to be added to the capital fund reserve to cover the cost of these. And so what we would ask for tonight is for the board to approve the resolution that does the budget amendment for the major facilities maintenance budget. And then we'll continue to work through all those. And again, you'll see the Station 76 bid come back before the board for authorization before we can move forward on that project. I'll take any other questions you have.
Any questions or comments from the board on the facilities repair?
I do have.
Commissioner Chan, go ahead.
Can you refresh my memory? When was Station 76 built?
Early
What?
90s, I believe. I'm sorry, Commissioner Chan.
No, I
Early
know.
90s.
Well, it was servers. They built,
Yeah.
Mill Creek built themselves. Okay.
Well, District 7 built it.
Yeah, Precinct 7, yeah, that's what I'm
For,
saying.
for Mill Creek,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. So I just wanted to comment that, yeah, a couple of weeks ago I was there. And they're using a locker blocking the view
Mhm.
and it's really crowded. So
Mhm.
I think this I totally support it. I'll vote yes for that.
Yeah, just so the board knows, was as we continue to talk about the capital facilities plan and the capital needs, the larger capital needs, 76 has been identified as a station that's actually probably in need of tear down rebuild. And so we don't take the addition to the dollars we're expending at Station 76 lightly, but the fact is, we need to actually get that station to a place where people can sleep there and be similar to the rest of our stations for the obvious reasons and having the privacy such. So, but yeah, Commissioner Chan, it's the station's old enough and where it's at and the conditions in that, the long-term goal, and depends on when that is that, in the next 15 years, there'll be a new station as a result of just the age of the station that's there.
Yeah.
Other general questions, comments on this? Yes, Commissioner Fernhoff, go ahead.
So, I'm hearing more and more as I listen and I absorb that we're falling short in either staffing or some other areas. And I see some things in here like flooring may not, at least in my opinion, be a priority in the savings that we get from the engine purchase or the ladder truck purchase all starts to add up and look like monies that can be put elsewhere. So I guess one of the questions I would have is what is the priority? I absolutely agree with Station 76 having the retrofit for personnel. Got to have the backup generator fully functional. But when you look at these things, are we weighing them against, is the question. Are we weighing them against any other priority that the organization has? Or are we just kind of looking at them in a very short, like, there it is, fix it, there it is, fix it? Or is there higher intelligence involved, I suppose, is what I'm asking?
I guess I can't speak for James because James and the facilities team actually track this probably at far more detail than even I'm aware of. I think they I think they do prioritize, and the stuff that actually comes up and meets and part of the process, so is the executive staff goes over these things and there's a vetting process that happens when this happens. So I think they are prioritized, and I think they are bringing things forward that actually need to be addressed. And the thing on some of these, like the flooring issues, is they're talking about finishing the concrete so we don't ever have to deal with this again, right? And some of that is, when we built Station 21 and we remodeled Station 13 at the time, people weren't doing polished concrete, and Station 21, God, it was new quite a while ago now. It shows my age. And I think we're trying to get to be more, and if you look at the new buildings the new stations we're building, we're taking some of those costs, like replacing carpet and replacing, vinyl or linoleum. We're not doing that anymore. We're putting in that so you don't have to do that kind of maintenance. We're still firefighters. We have a lot of people living in those stations and in and out. And so we're trying to make them more, unlike your house, we don't have to replace the floor again. Right. And so they are doing some of that. And I can tell you, I can't tell you when the last time we dealt with floors at 13 or 21, but it's been well over 10 years for us. So I think they are prioritizing them in their way. I don't necessarily have visualization on it, Commissioner Farinoff.
I think what I'm trying to get at is as we enter into budget season and we have a more granular look of how we're running the department, and we have arguments like we need more staff, these kinds of things. I'd like to be able to go and weigh this against what we did do in terms of priority versus funding another body or funding another CRP or funding another unit that makes impact on the community. So I'm not saying your floors are not important. I'm just saying that it's those kinds of examples that, do we really need to put that ladder truck into service now, or can 12 months buy us some time? Can 24 months buy us some time before we retrofit a piece of equipment where we can meet those NFPA standards that labor is talking about and these kinds of things? So that's just where my mind is at. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, Commissioner.
Lawrence, yeah, that's me.
Yeah, you, go ahead.
So building on Commissioner Fernhoff's question or idea of prioritize, it's, I think, in my 6 years here, it's you guys, it's because of we're such a lean machine, we try not to spend money, if possible. It's more of a form of triage on when it comes to maintenance. Would that be a more appropriate word to use?
We've got a really good team doing the work, and let me put it a different way. Flooring, there's a lot of places, flooring is good for 10 years, and 10 years you replace the flooring. And so there's agencies that just replace the flooring every 10 years. Our crews do not do that. Our crews wait until the flooring needs to be replaced. Right. And so I guess they're really good at what they do. We've got three guys that do exceptional work. And I think the bigger challenge, Commissioner Lawrence, with that is, we have the capital cities plan we've been talking about for a long time. And so they're well aware of what that looks like. They know what stations are looking at, that need to be torn down and rebuild, what stations need major remodels to them, the seismic up, and they take that into account. And so some of it is they delay in anticipation of potential, action on where the organization is going to go with the capital cities planning. And then we get to a place where we have to make a move and we can't delay any longer. And so I think, I guess I would characterize it a little bit different. I think they're being very conscientious of the cost that it costs us to maintain facilities. And they balance that with the greater conversation we're having about the capital cities plan in the broad picture. And they're trying to make sure we don't do something that could wait until the facility plan and it would happen in that place and time. So I look at it a little bit different. I think there's probably a certain amount where they go, this has been, we saw some unforeseen things and they are triaging, but I think it's more deliberate than that with the group.
Yeah, and just to remind everybody and guests that maybe the first time I've heard it, but 75 to 80% of our costs are labor. So that's where, if we're gonna operate it, probably 75% of our time should be talked about labor costs versus physical costs, but I don't know if that's practical.
Other general questions or comments on this issue? At page, the resolution the chief referenced is at page 75 of your packet. So I think we are ready for a motion. I'll move the adoption of resolution 09162025-13, which is amending the major facilities maintenance fund budget to fund additional facilities maintenance and update needs. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Lawrence. It's been moved and seconded to adopt that resolution. Is there discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion? If not, we will move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Passes unanimously.
Again, staff thanks you.
Thank you, Chief. All right. Okay, moving forward then in the agenda to that was the end of old business. That moves us on to item number 10, which is new business and adoption of the Fire Prevention Week resolution for action. And this is with Director Veely.
Thank you, Commissioners. So I'm here to talk about Fire Prevention Week, which is happening October 5th through 11th this year. Fire Prevention Week is a really important time for us to just highlight to our community how they can stay safer and prevent fires and safely escape fires. This year, we have a very timely focus, which is generated through the NFPA, the National Fire Protection Association generally. and it is charge into fire safety lithium ion batteries in your home. So we have been seeing a large amount of fires related to lithium ion batteries. In fact, we have one today in a waste management truck in our area that firefighters were on the scene of for more than 90 minutes. So these fires take a lot of resources to put out. They're generally challenging, especially if they're in, say, a trailer of compacted trash. It's often very difficult to reach the actual batteries that are burning, and then they can keep reigniting and so forth. And so it can create quite a response. And a lot of people don't realize that when you toss batteries in your trash, that it can create that much of an issue. So we're really going to be reinforcing that message this year with a campaign on social media. And then we also have a Fire Prevention Week open house that we'd love for you all to come to. And that is going to be October 4th at Station 21. And it's from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And so in front of you, you also have a resolution recognizing Fire Prevention Week, October 5th through 11th. And we ask that the commissioners adopt that resolution as presented.
Any questions from the board members on either the resolution recognizing, proclaiming National Fire Prevention Week, or about the events South County Fire is participating in? Any general questions? No? Okay. I will move the adoption of resolution 09162025-14, resolution proclaiming October 5 through 11, 2025 as National Fire Prevention Week.
I second that.
Seconded by Commissioner Chan. So moving to seconded to adopt that resolution. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Aye.
Any discussion on the motion? Commissioner Chan, go ahead.
Oh, no, I mean, it's a, would you vote for this? Okay,
Well,
I
do you
did.
have comment?
Yeah, just comments.
Go ahead.
I think it's really important for us for prevention. I always support prevention. A lot of people questioning, oh, why we have so many, but I think we prevent that thing never happen. That's better than go and save the thing. That's I totally support this motion here.
Other discussion on the motion? Any other discussion on the motion? If not, we'll move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you. That moves us forward on the agenda then to item number 11, which is committee updates, starting first with Capital Facilities Committee with Commissioner Lawrence.
Chief Isotelo has the full in-depth report.
Thank you, Commissioner Lawrence. So we confirmed that October 7th at the full board meeting, we'll be bringing forward Mr. Nelson to discuss bonds with the board. We also confirmed that Mr. Harris from TCA will be here at the following meeting on the 14th to go over the updated capital facilities plan and answer any questions the board might have. There was some discussion at the committee level about the potential of conducting some type of survey for the public, a formal survey to the public to kind of see where the public's at on not just capital needs, but a multitude of needs for the RFA. So there was some early discussion about that. There was updates on the Verdant property by Chief Eastman, and we still have the first right of refusal on purchase there, and they're still working through that process at the Verdant property. And then finally, we did receive a confirmation document that the Alderwood Mall Parkway site that we purchased, we can connect to the sewer system there. So.
All right.
That concludes the report.
Great. Thank you, Chief Isotelo. That takes us then to Finance and Human Resources Committee with Commissioner Chan.
Yes, of course, we can see CFO Buffalo has been overworked and did not sleep. So we're going to move the meeting to next week, 25th. So give us some time, and there's some really exciting things on the agenda. So we'll let you know next. Oh, yeah. We won't be having a meeting before the committee.
Exciting, did you say?
You're very exciting.
Thank you. Next up is the Intergovernmental Committee with Commissioner Wittes.
Thank you, Chair. We didn't have a meeting, but just to inform you, the I was invited by Senator Levick to the State Law and Justice Committee. They're having a work session at Mill Creek this Thursday at 10 to 12:30. So I invited them to our push-in at 9 o'clock. So we should see a few of them there.
Great, thank you. And then finally for committees, so we have Commissioner Fernhoff with Snow 911.
Yes, good evening. We'll have a meeting this Thursday, and by and large, we expect and anticipate the meeting to be all about finance. If you did not pick up on the last go around, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, was it 4% or just under 4%? Snow 911 anticipates raising their costs. In other words, their billing. And a lot of the communities that are served by that agency are running very lean as it is and may or may not be able to meet that additional expense. So we'll be talking to that board about our participation and comfort levels and all of that kind of thing. So stay tuned, more to come.
Great, thank you. That moves us forward on the agenda to item number 12, which is commissioner comments. Any commissioner comments? Any commissioner comments this evening? If not, then we'll move forward in the agenda to item number 13, which is executive session. We have review the performance of a public employee pursuant to RCW 4231.10(1)G, 3 items of that for our executive session this evening. That's probably, Chief, I'm going to say an hour. We'll probably do that for an hour to start with. We do not anticipate taking action at the conclusion of the executive session. Why don't we plan to take about a 10-minute, our break just a little early here, about a 10-minute break to roughly about 8:20, and then we'll resume for an hour to 9:20 in executive session. And so without objection, we'll be in a brief recess. Thank you.
The regular meeting of the South County Fire Board of Fire Commissioners has been brought back to order at 9:35 p.m. and without objection, the meeting is adjourned.